Welcome to the MMA Roundup with your host, Randy Silver. Today we're reviewing the week UFC had leading up in the UFC 294. Whew. Let's take a deep breath, everybody. I know you know what happened. Obviously, you can see in the screen on the left side, Islam Charles was the first fight, the main event, and Costa Chimaev was the second fight, the co-main event. Charles is gone. Costa is gone. So your new main event and co-main event is Makhachev versus Volkanovski 2, which is probably a better fight, honestly. Usman versus Chimaev 1, which is probably a better fight, honestly. And there's implications galore. So we're just going to break down the chain of events of how we got here for you, so you understand why this is better. And Dana White and the UFC brass, they did themselves money this week. Let's dive into it. So first and foremost, the main event was supposed to be Charles versus Islam, number 2. They have already fought before. In that fight, this was when Charles was a champion. Islam was trying to get the belt at UFC. I want to say it was like 282 or something like that. How did that fight end? Right here, Islam on top, has a choke, triangle choke. He passes over. Sucks that boy in. Charles was known to choking people out, and that was it. Islam gets his belt. With the belt, he now becomes, in Khabib's footsteps, champion of the lightweight title, another champion out of AKA up in Northern California. What did Islam do next? Islam then went and defended his belt. Let's show you in a second. Islam defended his belt against Alex Volkanovski. In that fight, he won by unanimous decision, which, let's make it clear, he won by unanimous decision in 5 rounds. However, a lot of people thought Alex won that fight. So all 3 judges had to give it 3-2. Could have gone either way. You don't usually see unanimous decisions be super contested and could go both ways. But in this case, it was not split. It was unanimous. Alex lost that fight. Islam won. But a lot of people thought Alex won that fight. Alex is the featherweight champion. He was moving up the lightweight to go for champ status. Did not get it. So Islam took some time off. That was in February, and he was going to fight Charles again. Charles got that fight by beating Kamaru up in Vancouver to become the number 1 contender. Unfortunately, for fight week, what happened? Charles had to pull out. You can see right here, he has a massive bandage over his eye. Let's see if we can zoom in for you. Look at that gash. Fifth round of sparring, right before he was going to leave the next day to go to Abu Dhabi. So literally last round of sparring in Brazil, punch, got eyes opened up. He feels terrible. His training partner probably feels terrible. But you can't fight like that. Something Dana White says right here. Let me scroll down. They didn't call us. They went straight to the hospital, wherever they had to go. They got stitches from the outside, meaning you can't fight because it'll open up. If you stitch it from the inside like a plastic surgeon, maybe you can still hold the fight. Unfortunately, did not happen. He's out of the fight. So who could step up? Dustin Poirier got a call and said, hey, I'm ready to go. But no. They're giving it to Alexander Volkanovski, and they're making it a rematch. So your tail of the tape. Volk had just been announced earlier in the day to be fighting and defending his featherweight title at UFC 297, I'm going to say, in Toronto. Excuse me if that's not wrong. Right, but it's Toronto against Ilya. Now, he still may defend that, who knows, in January if he's feeling up to it. But he gets a chance to go against Islam in a rematch and get that champ status. He'd become the 5th person ever to ever become champ. You see right here, of course, you got Usman versus Chimaev. So this is the fight. Sick for Volk on 11 days notice. He also got surgery on his either arm or hand after the fight when he won. So if we go to Volk really quickly. Volk, in between these fights, defended his belt against Yair Rodriguez. TKO win. Pretty handily beat him. It was not close. And he had to say, I got to need some surgery. He also had a child, so congrats to him. 3rd child, I'm pretty sure. I know he has 2, so I'm pretty sure it's 3, not 4. I think it's 3. So he's at a full 3 months, and he could end the year as champ. If not, he'll go into that fight and be fighting Ilya, who's the number one contender in the featherweight in January. Maybe he does both, maybe not. We'll find out. Now, in the other fight, we lost Paulo Costa versus Khamzat Chimaev. This sucks. They've been brewing for a while. First off, this was pulled out because he has infection in his elbow. You can see it right there. He had to get surgery. This fight's been brewing for a while. When Chimaev was preparing to go against Nate Diaz, which obviously ended up not happening because of shenanigans, they were at the UFC Performance Institute. Costa was there training. They got a brawl here, not brawl, excuse me, a fighting match, and they were talking ish to each other. And since then, they've had bad blood, and they've wanted to fight each other. So you can see him trying to talk a little bit, and they're just talking ish to each other. So this has been gearing up for a while. Costa's not fought in a while, and unfortunately he has an infection. He had to get surgery on his elbow. You can see it's right there. News got out about the surgery if he was going to fight. He went on the MMA Hour with Ariel, and he was trying to talk, yo, I'm going to be able to fight. Don't worry, don't pull out. Unfortunately, he had to pull out because he got re-hospitalized. So first off, we wish him well. He had to do a second surgery, so he went on the show on Monday. On Tuesday, he had to do second surgery. Has to do third surgery on Friday. Bacteria is still in there. They're not getting it out. So the Abu Dhabi card, now he out. It'll still be amazing. Who do they get to jump in? And this is where they get Usman to jump in. The former welterweight champion of the world now goes up to middleweight to fight Chimaev. And Dana White has already said the winner of this fight will become the next middleweight number one contender to fight Sean Strickland. Usman is a dog. There's no other way around it. Usman lost really early in his career in 2013, not in the UFC. Once he joined the UFC, he had not lost a fight until he lost back-to-back fights against Leon Edwards. Of course, the first one was the head kick heard around the world in Salt Lake City. The second one he lost by majority decision over in England. Now he gets to go up a weight class and fight for the middleweight number one contender. He is a Olympic level wrestler. Chimaev is an Olympic level wrestler. They both can brawl. This will be really fun. He never moved up to middleweight to try to do champ because during this whole run, his really good friend Israel Adesanya, both of them are from Africa. They would not fight each other. There's a mutual respect there and love for all that means being from Africa and the heritage that they have together. Now that Israel is now gone from the middleweight division, he lost his belt to Sean Strickland down in Australia. The opportunity is there for him to step up, and now he could try to go for champ. He won't be champ in the sense of simultaneous belts. He'll be able to be a two-division champion, and we'll see if he can do that, if he can beat Chimaev. So that is how we get to these fights, and that's why you get Islam has a new matchup now against Alexander Volkanovski, and now also as well, Usman gets to step in on 10 days' notice, and he's fighting Khamzat Chimaev, who is a beast. And that is what happened between Monday and Thursday of this week, October 9th through October 12th. The UFC 294 fell apart, came back together, fell apart, came back together. Are you more excited for these fights? Are you more excited for the other fights? Are you one for two? Anything in between? Let me know your thoughts in the comments about your eagerness for these fights, and of course, overall, the whole card. We'll give you a full preview of the card coming up this week, so subscribe here and stay tuned to MMA Roundup on Randy Silver TV with your boy, Randy Silver. Thank you for watching. Let me know you got anything. Out.